Hello. I am in the middle of a chess.com chess 960 daily tournament. And one of my opponents in my pool went on vacation, so maybe in 3 months I'll be able to play again. But I was looking around the tournament page and I saw biggest upset. 585 beats 1396. And I was like, oh, let's look at this game and see kind of what happened. And frankly, I was appalled. Okay, this game, like, my jaw was on the floor looking at this game. Okay, I mean, not the even the you will have a hard time. I anonymize the players. You will have a hard time figuring out who the 500 level player is. Okay, and frankly, both of them played below a 500 level. Okay, but this is like my first Chess 960 video, and Chess 960 is pretty cool. So I thought I'd make a video about it and kind of talk about some Chess 960 opening strategies and stuff like that, and just other weird things about it. Um, Now, a couple things about Chess 960. It's also called Fisher Random because it was invented by Bobby Fischer, and there's a couple rules. The first rule is the bishops have to be on opposite colors, like light and dark squares. The second rule is the king has to be between the two rooks. Now, how castling works is you castle to where you would go in regular chess. So to castle kingside, this bishop and this queen would have to go out of the way. The king would go over here, and the rook would go over here, even though they're kind of already positioned like weirdly, right? To castle queenside, this knight would have to go out of the way, and then the king would go over here because that's where it would go castling queenside, and the rook would go here because that's where it would go castling queenside, right? So that's how castling works. You just go to where you would go. And the other restrictions, like there can't be any pieces in the way, castling through check, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so with all of that said, let's get right into the game. The first move is knight to d3, and I personally do not like this move. I think a better move here is e4, right? It's best in regular chess, and it's good in this too. It opens up this bishop, which is where it is in regular chess. It kind of opens up the rook, and it controls the center, right? Solid move there. This knight to d3 move, at least it develops a piece, but we have a mirror match from black, all right? So this is implementing some new chess 960 opening principles here, just moving knights. And now we have knight to c5, and for the life of me, I cannot tell you why white played this move, okay? I have no idea. And now we have knight to b6, and now knight goes back to b3 out of the way. The reason the computer doesn't like this move is it blocks in this pawn, which basically permanently blocks in this bishop. And in fact, in some of my games, which I might show when they actually finish in 6 months, whenever my opponents get back from vacation, is sometimes these bishops, like on the diagonals, like, oh yeah, it's a really powerful diagonal, but it's sometimes it's really kind of awkward to get them developed, especially when you block the pawn in with the knight. And in fact, the part of the reason this b6 move was good, it didn't just attack a knight aimlessly, it opened up this bishop. And now black has a solid advantage. And now pawn goes to c5. This controls this square, so the knight can't go there. Fair enough, I suppose. And knight goes back to c1, and white is just, you know what? I think white is just doing a challenge of, like, chess 960, but I can only move my knight. Or I'm just gonna do like that one clip where Ben Feingold just keeps moving his knight back and forth, right? He's just messing with this guy in 3 minute blitz or something like that. I think White's doing that here in chess 960, just like messing. Okay, now we have e4. Now the computer doesn't like this because it blunders the pawn basically. However, it's still like white. It's still a decent position for white because even though the pawn's attacked twice and only defended once, it also opens up this bishop to attack this pawn. So, not terrible. Black plays e5, and now white plays g3, blundering this pawn. Because knight can take, and even though you can take over here, still is not great. Actually, the computer line's just looking at him. After knight takes e4, it's saying f4. The computer's acting weird, but okay. I don't like g3. It literally does nothing. And now c4, protecting this pawn. by pushing this pawn in front of it. Fair enough, but this pawn is hanging. Now bishop g2 defending the pawn, and f5 attacking the pawn, and white takes, black takes, knight takes f5. It's a mistake. It liked just pushing this pawn up, I guess, to block off this bishop. And maybe this pawn is weak. So the engine is kind of smoking crack here at the beginning of these chess 960 games. But knight takes f5, and now f3. Obviously, this move is opening up the queen. But it does block the bishop in, and it doesn't really do a whole lot. Now rook goes to c8, blundering this pawn. And now white is up a pawn. The computer's at 0, 0, 0. We are so back. Pawn to b4, and this allows queen to a5 check, right? You could block with the rook, but then that hangs the bishop, so you have to move the king over here. You lose castling rights. Your king is wide open. This bishop is blocked in by the king, right? It's just a really good position for white. And now white plays bishop h3. I guess to attack the knight, right? You see knight, you attack knight. But also, here's the real genius of this, right? The real genius of bishop h3 is that if the knight moves, say here, this is checkmate, alright? This is clearly a bait. This is like some 500 elo bait right here, right? However, that just gives black, bishop takes f3. Only move is to block with the rook. Oh, just kidding. It's not the only move because it's a mistake. What else? Oh, you can block with this knight. I'm so bad. This isn't my game, I promise, okay? This is not my game. I think I'm rated 1200 in chess 960 daily. But you can block with the knight, okay? White chooses to sacrifice the exchange. I respect it. And now this bishop gets developed attacking the queen. So queen's got to move right, danger levels. Check. King moves out of the way. And now bishop takes the knight. So white is actually up 1 point of material, but black is at -3 on the engine because black just has so much more piece activity. And other than this pawn that this bishop is kind of pointing at, that's really the only weakness in black's position. Now this queen can get developed like over here or over here. In fact, queen over here is pretty friggin' dangerous because it threatens this. However, that can kind of be stopped with this, kind of just anchoring the bishop there. But then you have this. Then white's in a pretty tough spot. So yeah, it just, even though white's up material, black's position is just way better. Now we have queen to d5, bringing the queen and attacking the knight. And also, not like this pretty much like can win both knights, right? If white doesn't respond to this threat. Because queen check, the only move here is to block with the knight, which then black can also take. And then the king can actually get out, but basically win 2 knights there. Now, white castles. Now, here are the castling rules, right? It just goes to where they would castle in a regular chess game. So that's where queenside castling would be in a regular chess game. That's how it is in chess 960. Good move by white. And now black plays c3, blundering all of the advantage away. Because white can play d takes c3 and hang mate in 3. No, the correct move was to capture with the other pawn. And then everything's fine. But white got too excited with a discovery here. And that allows a mega tactic. It allows a mega tactic. Bishop e3 check. Not only is it mate in 2, but it also wins the queen. And as you know, when you see checkmate, look for better. You can, even if it wasn't mate, you still just win the queen. And now black is just super winning on multiple levels. King goes out of the way, takes that, knight block only move, and queen to c1 checkmate. And that was an interesting game, and I hope you enjoyed it.